Have you ever woken up feeling sluggish, bloated, or just plain off, only to wonder if your breakfast might be to blame? After you turn 70, your body changes in ways that make the first meal of the day more crucial than ever. It's no longer about simply fueling up, it's about ensuring you get the nutrients you need to support bone health, cognitive function, heart rhythm, and overall energy levels. On the other hand, certain foods can weigh you down, trigger digestive issues, spike your blood sugar, or set you up for a day of lethargy and discomfort. If that cycle repeats, it can gradually chip away at your quality of life. In this discussion, we'll explore 8 problematic foods that you should avoid at breakfast if you're over 70 and want to preserve stable energy, maintain a healthy weight, and safeguard against ailments that often accompany aging. By the end of this, you might just find yourself reevaluating your morning plate, potentially swapping out these unhelpful staples for more nutrient-dense alternatives that sustain both body and mind. Let's begin by acknowledging that breakfast remains the most important meal of the day for a reason. After hours of overnight fasting, your body is primed to absorb nutrients that will set the stage for your metabolism, mood, and mental clarity. While a teenager or someone in their 20s might handle a plate of greasy bacon or a sugary muffin without an immediate crash, older adults have less wiggle room. Your organs, be it your liver, kidneys, or digestive tract, no longer bounce back from dietary missteps as quickly as they once did. Over time, frequent consumption of the wrong types of foods can exacerbate conditions like hypertension, type 2 diabetes, and high cholesterol, while simultaneously depleting your strength and vitality. The flip side is also true. If you choose your breakfast wisely, you can stabilize your blood sugar, reduce inflammation, and keep your muscle tissue from wasting. That's why it's so important to know which morning foods are working against you rather than for you. A common offender on many breakfast tables is sugary cereal. Perhaps you grew up on these colorful boxes, or you enjoy the nostalgia factor. But cereals loaded with sugar, artificial flavorings, or refined grains hit your bloodstream like a sugar bomb, causing a rapid spike in glucose, followed by a crash that leaves you feeling shaky or drowsy by mid-morning. For seniors, those blood sugar fluctuations can worsen insulin sensitivity and increase the risk of type 2 diabetes. What's more, sugary cereals are often low in fiber and other key nutrients, meaning you're filling up on empty calories that do little to support muscle or bone health. If you crave the crunch, consider a high-fiber, low-sugar cereal topped with fresh fruit. This way, you get beneficial carbohydrates and vitamins without the roller coaster effect. Another problematic choice, particularly for older adults, is processed or heavily salted breakfast meats like bacon, sausage, or ham. While they're undeniably tasty, these meats often contain excessive sodium, nitrates, and saturated fats. Sodium overload is especially concerning if you have elevated blood pressure or are at risk of heart disease. And while some saturated fats can be part of a balanced diet, the type and quantity in many commercial breakfast sausages can add up quickly, straining your arteries over time. The preservatives commonly found in these meats have also been linked to an increased risk of certain cancers and other chronic issues. If you love having a savory protein in the morning, lean toward less processed options. Consider boiling or scrambling eggs with vegetables, or try turkey bacon that's lower in sodium and nitrates. It may not replicate the exact flavor of traditional bacon, but your heart will thank you for the swap. Pastries, like donuts, cinnamon rolls, or sugary muffins, are the third culprit that can sabotage a healthy breakfast for seniors. These treats pair refined flour with high levels of sugar and unhealthy fats, giving you a short-term burst of energy followed by an inevitable slump. Over time, regularly indulging in pastries can contribute to weight gain, joint pain, and the aggravation of inflammatory conditions such as arthritis. Some seniors notice they have more aches on days when they consume too many refined carbs and sweets, likely due to the resulting inflammatory spike in the bloodstream. Additionally, the high sugar content can interfere with hunger and fullness signals, causing you to overeat later in the day. If you can't resist the idea of a sweet start, consider a small piece of whole grain toast with a thin layer of peanut butter and a drizzle of honey or mashed banana. You'll satisfy the craving for sweetness without bombarding your system with empty calories. Next on the list is fruit juice. especially the kind that claims to be 100% real but is often stripped of its natural fiber during processing. Many people assume that having orange or apple juice first thing in the morning is healthy because it's derived from fruit, but the lack of fiber means your body absorbs the fructose rapidly, spiking blood sugar in much the same way a sugary soda might. Over time, frequent sugar surges are linked to metabolic syndrome, a cluster of issues that include abdominal fat, high blood pressure, and insulin resistance. If you truly enjoy citrus or other fruits, consider eating the whole fruit instead. Not only do you get more fiber that slows sugar absorption, you also get a more satisfying texture that can keep you feeling fuller. On days when you'd really like some juice, try diluting it with water, or choose a freshly blended smoothie that includes the pulp to retain fiber. Another less obvious breakfast pitfall is leftover pizza or other greasy leftovers from the previous night's dinner. While the convenience might be tempting, you already have food in the fridge after all. A morning meal packed with grease, refined carbs, and possibly a heap of cheese can weigh you down. The high-fat content can cause digestive discomfort, while the sodium and refined flour can leave you feeling bloated. Over months or years, such habits can quietly undermine your cardiovascular and digestive systems. If you must have something savory and comforting, consider a simple vegetable omelet with a small amount of cheese, or a whole-grain English muffin topped with tomato slices and a sprinkling of low-sodium turkey. This approach gives you the flavor you crave without subjecting your stomach to a heavy, greasy start. You might be surprised to see coffee with excessive sugar or flavored creamers on this list, but it's a common culprit, particularly if you're in the habit of having multiple cups a day. Seniors who rely on sweetened coffee beverages can easily exceed recommended daily sugar intake without realizing it, especially if they use those flavored syrups, whipped cream, or sweet creamers laden with additional fat. While moderate coffee consumption can have health perks like improved mental alertness and potential antioxidant benefits, it quickly shifts from friend to foe when sugary extras dominate the drink. Oversweetening your coffee each morning can trigger insulin spikes, disrupt your gut flora, and sabotage your efforts to manage weight or blood sugar. Try transitioning to black coffee or using a minimal amount of milk or sugar. If you prefer a richer taste, consider unsweetened almond milk or coconut milk creamer, and sweeten lightly with a natural alternative like stevia or a small drizzle of honey. Next is a category of food rather than a single item. High-sodium instant meals such as packaged oatmeal or instant noodle soups marketed as breakfast options. While convenience is appealing, these packages often contain excessive sodium, chemical additives, and fewer nutrients than the fresh or minimally processed versions. Sodium can contribute to fluid retention and aggravate hypertension, which many people over 70 are already managing. The quick carbs from refined grains in these instant meals can also lead to fast energy peaks followed by a slump, not unlike sugary cereals. If oatmeal is your morning go-to, choose plain old-fashioned oats or steel-cut oats. Then add fruit, nuts, or a touch of cinnamon for sweetness. Doing so ensures you're getting fiber, vitamins, and a slow-release carbohydrate profile without the hidden salt or sugar bomb that instant packets might hide under flavors like maple and brown sugar. Finally, we should discuss processed granola bars or breakfast bars that lure you in with words like whole grains or fortified with vitamins. Many of these bars are essentially candy in disguise, brimming with sugar, syrups, and unhealthy fats to hold them together. They may contain rolled oats, but the nutrient value is often overshadowed by sweeteners and artificial flavors. Eating a bar that tastes like dessert might satisfy your sweet tooth, but it does little to keep you feeling full or provide a balanced nutrient profile. For seniors, starting the day with such a sugar-laden choice can lead to energy crashes, digestive discomfort, and an increased craving for more sugary foods later. Rather than relying on these bars, consider making a homemade version with minimal sweetener and plenty of nuts, seeds, and dried fruit. Or simply have a quick, balanced mini meal like Greek yogurt with berries, which offers a better balance of protein, fiber, and vitamins. It's worth noting that you don't have to discard these foods altogether in some extreme purge. Instead, become more conscious of how often they feature in your breakfast routine, then find alternatives that work better for your current nutritional needs. For example, if you love cereal but want to avoid the sugary kind, look for high-fiber options that list whole grains as the first ingredient and contain little to no added sugar. Top it with berries or a banana for natural sweetness. If processed bacon is your go-to, experiment with lean turkey bacon or consider small servings of leftover grilled chicken. If you crave fruit juice, try blending a fresh smoothie that includes the whole fruit, or pair half a cup of juice with something high in protein like a boiled egg or a slice of cheese. These small steps can result in big improvements over time as your body becomes better equipped to handle your daily activities without the roller coaster of quick sugar fixes or heavy, salty breakfasts. Why does all this matter so much after 70? Your body's margin for error narrows with each passing year. Nutrient deficiencies can show up more prominently, bone density may decline, and the immune system doesn't bounce back the way it used to. Consuming the right foods at breakfast can help maintain muscle mass, keep your energy stable, and manage or even prevent certain chronic conditions. On the flip side, consistently eating the wrong foods may hasten health complications, leaving you feeling perpetually tired or dealing with frequent doctor visits. By choosing balanced, nutrient-rich breakfasts, you're effectively giving your day a running start, bolstering your resilience and overall well-being. You might wonder how to integrate these changes smoothly if you've been eating the same breakfast for decades. The key is gradual adjustment. For instance, replace one sugary cereal day per week with a bowl of steel-cut oats topped with berries. Over time, increase the number of oatmeal days. Swap out bacon for lean turkey bacon, or a side of smoked salmon, particularly if sodium is not a major concern. Or if you really love bacon, consider cutting your portion in half and balancing it with fruit or vegetables. Small shifts can become routine before you know it, and the cumulative effect can be profound. You might notice you have more stamina for morning tasks, find it easier to keep your weight under control, or simply enjoy a clearer mind. Seniors often report sleeping better and experiencing fewer digestive complaints once they reduce their intake of processed sugars, salts, and fats. Some individuals also find it helpful to do a bit of meal prep or planning. Because mornings can be a time of low energy or medication schedules, preparing a batch of healthier breakfast options, like overnight oats or egg muffins packed with vegetables, can simplify your routine. If you're not a morning person, having these ready-to-eat items might deter you from grabbing a donut or pastry out of convenience. And if you're living with a spouse or caregiver, consider discussing these changes together so everyone in the household aligns on making breakfast healthier. That teamwork can make the transition smoother and more enjoyable, rather than isolating you in your dietary choices. Another question you might have is whether skipping breakfast entirely could be a solution. Some seniors adopt intermittent fasting or simply find they're not hungry first thing. While that might work for some, it can be a risky approach if you're already dealing with nutritional gaps or issues like low blood sugar in the morning. Your body still needs energy and vital nutrients to function properly, and going too long without eating may exacerbate fatigue or encourage overeating later in the day. If you genuinely aren't hungry, aim for a modest, nutrient-dense option, perhaps half a cup of plain Greek yogurt, topped with a handful of nuts and a drizzle of honey. That small meal can keep your metabolism engaged and supply your cells with what they need to keep you lively and balanced. Let's also address coffee or tea. Plain coffee or tea in moderate amounts can be absolutely fine, even beneficial, as they offer antioxidants and can boost mental alertness. The main issue arises when you load them with sugar, whipped cream, or processed creamers containing trans fats. If you enjoy a sweet note in your morning beverage, it's safer to use a bit of milk or an unsweetened dairy alternative, plus a sprinkle of cinnamon or a small touch of a natural sweetener. This way, you preserve the natural benefits of coffee or tea without triggering the insulin roller coaster that a sugary latte would bring. Finally, there's a practical angle: your social life. Breakfast often becomes a shared meal with grandkids, spouses, or friends, especially on weekends. You don't have to completely avoid going out or hosting brunch. Instead, see it as an opportunity to make choices that fit your new guidelines. If you're at a restaurant, look for omelets loaded with vegetables or oatmeal topped with nuts. If someone brings pastries, maybe you taste just a small piece and fill the rest of your plate with fruit and a source of protein. This balanced approach keeps your relationships harmonious while letting you uphold your commitment to better health. Now that you know which foods to avoid, sugary cereals, processed breakfast meats, pastries, fruit juice, especially without pulp, Greasy leftovers, heavily sweetened coffee, high-sodium instant meals, and disguised candy bars posing as breakfast bars. You can reevaluate your morning routine. Remember, it's not about deprivation. It's about steering clear of nutritional pitfalls that complicate life after 70. Each day, you have a fresh chance to supply your body with what it truly craves: whole grains, lean proteins, fresh produce, and healthy fats. By doing so, you gift yourself a more stable mood, better strength, and the energy to pursue the activities you love. Over time, even your doctors may notice improvements in your blood work or a lower need for certain medications, which can lighten both your budget and your stress level. If you found these insights helpful, consider discussing them with a friend or family member who also cares about optimizing their breakfast routine. Perhaps you can exchange recipes, share tips for finding lower sodium turkey bacon, or pool resources for buying fresh fruit in bulk. Building a supportive community around healthy eating can be a game changer, especially if you're transitioning from many years of indulging in easy, processed breakfast items. The journey is absolutely doable, and it's never too late to see benefits. If your typical breakfast used to be a donut or sugary cereal with a side of processed meat, even switching to a more moderate approach 3 or 4 days a week can yield tangible gains in how you feel and function. Ultimately, each small adjustment at breakfast sets the tone for the rest of your day, and by extension, the rest of your life. At 70 or older, every moment of feeling clear-headed, strong, and content is precious. Avoiding these 8 breakfast pitfalls allows you to reclaim a sense of control over your health, proving that age is not a barrier to living vibrantly. Here's to better mornings, one meal at a time. If you haven't already, please subscribe or follow so you won't miss future discussions on how to thrive in your golden years. May your next sunrise bring a healthier, happier start to your day.